And I'm gonna go against the grain a little bit, and I might have to bite the bullet on this one. But everybody knows, those who've been listening to the show for a long time, my guy drives the 22 car, Joey Logano. And I'm going to have to say, I'm going with Joey Logano, Sprint Cup Series. Now, I know what you just said. Dude, really? Yes, really. Now, nothing against Jimmy Johnson. I like Jimmy Johnson. But my guy is in there. I got to pull for my guy. So I'm going with Joey Logano, 2016 Sprint Cup Series champion. And if it doesn't turn out that way, we'll be talking about it on Monday. All right. Good stuff. So that brings us to our next area of business here. I gotta put that over there. All right. Let's do it. This upcoming weekend, ladies and gentlemen, NASCAR action heading to Homestead Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida, owned by the city of Homestead, opened in 1995. 1.5 mile oval, banking at the corners between 18 and 20 degrees. And at the straights, it is 3. A lap record, Sam Hornish Jr., 2006, at 24.462 seconds. Penske Racing, Verizon IndyCar Series. Now, Formula One returns, and I do apologize. I normally have all my standings and stuff, but I goofed up. So we didn't have the driver standings this week. I would go on the computer, but we'll have that. We'll be here over the off season, so we have plenty of time to get Formula One stuff in. And Formula One returns on November 27th, and that's going to be for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final race of the 2016 F1 circuit. And this will determine the points leaders. I mean, it's Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. There's the top two the whole season. No one else has cracked the top two. It's either Nico Rosberg will climb the first, then 1 week it's Lewis Hamilton up the first, and then Nico from the same team. That was it the whole season. That was it. And it seems to be the only two drivers that win any races. Well, not really, but every time I seem to watch, it's either one of those two. I'm like, all right. But anyway, I do got a stash of Formula One races on DVR, so I'll do some homework during the off season. But this was my first year watching Formula One, and it's all right. You know, it's different. It's a little different. I mean, you know, you don't got as many cars, and it's not like they're up in, you know, it's not like NASCAR. We got 40 cars out there, everyone trying to fight for a spot. It's very different, very different. Now, I do think IndyCar is a little bit more exciting than Formula One. I'll say that, but you know, and you know, a lot of these races, Formula One, they're in other countries. So some of these races are starting at Chinese Grand Prix is 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, man. That's crazy. The first race of the season, Australian Grand Prix, that one starts at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, but needless to say, it's interesting, you know. And yes, it's 2 different cars, obviously, right? Some people that don't watch racing say, oh, don't they race the same cars in IndyCar? Oh, no, they're 2 different cars. They're totally different, actually. Very totally different. But anyway, so now, after this weekend, we're going to have a 2016 Campbell Truck Series champion, a 2016 Xfinity Series champion, and a 2016 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, racing fans, Motorsports Radio presents the official Motorsports Radio racing schedule. Now, we're going to start with the Camping World Truck Series, and that's going to be on Friday night, Friday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, FS1 and MRN, and that's going to be for the Ford EcoBoost 200, and that's with 134 laps. NASCAR Xfinity Series racing on Saturday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN and MRN, and that's going to be for the Ford EcoBoost 300, and that's going to be with 200 laps. And then one more time, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing on Sunday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, NBC and MRN, and that's going to be the Ford EcoBoost 400. And I believe, how many laps are on there? I forgot to put that down on there too. I think it's like 314 or something like that. And that's going to be on Sunday afternoon. All right. Good stuff. So now, I'd like to take this moment to say thank you everyone out there. Thank you to the fans for tuning in over the course of this past season. We had a little bit of a rocky start because we started with the racing podcast that kind of bit the bullet. So then we came with Motorsports Radio, which I think is a lot better, goes a lot smoother and a lot more fun. So I'd like to say thank you for those tuning in over this past season. We got one more round of Motorsports Radio's breakdown on Monday, and then we switch to our off-season mode, and that's going to be with Motorsports Radio's Pit Stop, which is kind of experimental. Normally we just take a break during the off-season, back when it was the racing podcast, but now it's Motorsports Radio and motorsportsradio.net, so I don't want to keep things stagnated over the off-season, so we're just going to, it's kind of experimental. I mean, it's really only Motorsports Radio Pit Stops will only be like 5 minutes, tops, maybe 10, just quick news update, so nothing too crazy. So we got a lot of competition because we're competing with NASCAR America and Race Hub, so we got to keep it going. So we're going to start that on December 1st, and we're going to do it on Thursdays, 7:25, and everybody, you can go on there anytime on demand. Of course, it's a podcast, so anytime after 7:25 on Thursday, you can listen, and we'll just keep that going throughout the course of the off-season. Thanks to folks on Twitter. Great response on Twitter, LinkedIn, and all that good stuff. And that's it, man. So we're going to call it a day. We'll be back on Monday to break everything down. I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. From Long Island, New York, this is Manny A. And this has been Motorsports Radio, home of Motorsports Talk.